Hello, my name is Andrew Thake from Minds and Money. Delighted to be joined today by Greg Duras, who's the President and Chief Executive Officer of Western Metallica. Delighted to have you with us today, Greg.
Great. Thank you very much, Andrew. Glad to be here.
For those who don't know much about Western Metallica, can you give us a brief synopsis of the company?
Sure. So, Western Metallica is an Ontario registered corporation. We're a publicly traded company, having completed our listing back in April of this year, so April 2022. On the listing, we completed a initial financing generating gross proceeds of about $8 million. We're a resource company focused in Spain, with primarily gold, with also a copper asset in the southern Spain. Our three gold properties are located in northern Spain, in the autonomous region of Asturias, where there are other resource companies operating in the area. Asturias is very much a mining friendly jurisdiction. People would characterize it as, as a mining area. We got attracted to Spain we essentially found Western Metallica with my partner Joaquin Marino, who is native to Spain, after having spent about 25 years in other overseas locations and getting his geological experience outside of Spain. He returned to Spain, and we thought to take advantage of Spain's resource rich nature, and really what I think is very much underexplored, and also really not that well known of a mining region for Bay Street.
Yeah. So I'm just on the question about Spain. I think that maybe a lot of the investors listening in won't know too much about Spain as a mining jurisdiction. I appreciate in your previous answer you said that it's quite a friendly place to do business in, but can you perhaps sort of expound on that, and what's the recent legislation have they introduced to make it easier for mining companies such as yourself?
Well, so I guess, the number one thing is, after having had experience in other jurisdictions where perhaps, they're very resource rich. I mean, the bottom line is Spain is a EU member country. So number one thing is there's a strong rule of law. So certainty to title, which I think is key. There's a strong, healthy mining law, which is I think favorable and favorable to the private companies, where the government is not looking to take too much out of a project. So there's no royalty regime, there's no clause whereby on exploitation the government takes a participation right. So it's a company friendly mining law. It's a good place to do business, in a sense that, well, first of all, the climate is friendly, so we can operate all year round. And it's also, because it's a safe environment, it's easy to attract good talent there. So people want to work in Spain. I mean, a lot of geos, you would talk to them, and they simply like to work to Spain because it's somewhere that they could even come with their family. So in a time where good talent is difficult to find, it's a nice quality to be working in a country where it's a safe environment and a pleasant working environment. And then lastly, I mean, I think it's really quite resource rich. And we do have four projects, the ability to expand on our projects. It is, certainly in the south, it's very much a very resource rich environment with along the Iberian Pyrite Belt, with big players like, for example, Rio Tinto essentially was founded as a result of the Iberian Pyrite Belt.
So looking ahead to 2023, what are your plans for the next 12 months?
So our plans for the next 12 months, our goal is essentially to to basically realize the potential or demonstrate the potential to be able to get to 1 million ounces of gold on our 3 gold properties in the north. So what we're doing right now, we're drilling at Penedela. We're kind of focused in two places, basically, where we're extending the strike length of the historical drilling that was already done on the west side of the anticline, and now we're also trying to focus on the actual anticline itself and to better understand the structure, and doing some quite far out scouting holes to better understand the whole structure, and see if we can actually develop basically the space or the area to actually get to a 1 million ounce resource. And so by 2023, I think, I mean, then our news flow has been relatively slow. We've been ramping up, but we've also been kind of prudent with our money too, obviously in a difficult environment. But so 2023, we will be drilling on Penedela and Sierra Alta throughout 2023, hopefully. And once we've kind of figured out the structures, the idea would be, hopefully, I would suggest at the end of the third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter, that we would start to do resource definition drilling, with the hope of, by the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, to be in a position to publish a maiden resource.
So you've got great deposits in a great jurisdiction. What about the management team? Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Okay, well, so first of all, my background, I've been in mining since 1996, so plus 25 years. I am a CPA, so I guess my senior executive role have been primarily as a chief financial officer. I did take on this role as CEO as I was, the key founder to the company, and I thought I'd take on that role, having understanding, from a CFO side. I think I was well suited to take on the CEO role of a junior resource company. Our team really is very much locally driven and project driven. We're very light on the corporate side, but we're heavy on the technical side, with our technical team being led by Giovanni Fugnoli, who comes from he has a tremendous amount of experience, and we're honestly very fortunate to have him on his team. He's backed by very strong group of geos. So I guess to describe our team, at a strategic and director level, we've got all the areas covered in terms of corporate development, and we've got international mining and geological experience, and then we've got a very strong local Spanish team.
Mm-hmm. And who are your major shareholders?
So really, the management team and directors and management own essentially 25% of the company. I guess it's just about 23.5 last count. So we're big owners of the company. And then really a lot of our other shareholders came from our subscription receipt financing on closing of the RTO. And I would suggest that the majority of our shareholder are sophisticated investors, heads of sales that have many of the sales desks here in Toronto, in Vancouver, and really our shareholder are, primarily are those that have written, significant checks, 50K, 100K into that $8 million financing. So they're, I would say, professional investors that understand really the business.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today, Greg. We really wish you all the best for 2023. That was Greg Duras, President and Chief Executive Officer of Western Metallica, brought to you by Minds of Money in association with Red Cloud. Thank you very much for your time, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me on.